Ready? The previous session was speaking on these collections, right? We have worked on different kind of collections like list and set, right? And then what we have seen is when it comes to the tree kind of collections, it was forcing us to go for a specific type. Till here, we have observed, correct? Right, oh yeah, chalo. Right? So what was the next step here? You have seen this, and I'll just repeat this example one more time and then go ahead with the new topic. Okay? तो ये मैंने this was the API which we have discussed on a paint. I put it on a notepad so that I can share this with you people. ठीक है ना? Now I'll come back to a small example. Let's say I have a class called क्या था हमारा क्लास का नाम sorted collection, right? That's how we have started, if I remember, right? And then I would say import java dot util dot start. Here is my public static void main string args. Example is pretty simple. Anybody can answer me what will be the output by looking at this. I'm taking a set, yeah, naito, which has a tree model, right? I would like to take the tree set of type string. Let's say, what do you call this? List is equals to, I call this as list. Okay. New preset type same. And then here I'm saying list dot add element of, let's say, ram. like like this I have some four names, and then here, because if you could see they are all of the same type. Okay, what we can do is we could actually print them in another way. The previous way what we have opted for is using system.out.println. This is one way. Simply pass the list, control s, and नाम क्या था इसका, desktop feb sorted collection java. Well, it is expected A, G, P, and R in the sorting order of the value of the element it will print. Pretty fine. This is one way. And the other way to print is, because this is of a single same type element. And yeah, the traditional other way is like this. Iterator of type string itr is equals to list dot iterator, call the method, and then you have to say while this itr dot has the next element, and all you need to do is print it system dot out print ln of that particular element, which is itr dot next. Move to the next pointer by releasing this element is what you are saying. You go here, recompile this program, run the program, you pretty much get the same output in one by one line, because you said system.out.print ln of this element, then the next, then the next, then the next. Apart from these two traditional approaches of printing, if you are following a single typed element, you could actually go for happily for each loop. For each string type of element E or name available, you can give any name. I mean like ऐसा कि the variable का name ही नहीं E हो सकता है या S हो सकता है या कुछ भी हो सकता है, because you are printing names of collection, so you are saying name available in the list. Okay, most of the time the list is also not the correct naming convention. Let's say if you're planning to save names over here, you could actually have said this names, something like this. This is the correct way of doing the the naming the variables, actually speaking. Let's say control C, control V, control V, control V, assuming. And then here is also I'm saying names, and here also I'm saying names, and then here also I'm saying names. Now look at this, it makes a bit sense. For each string type of component called name, who's the temporary name of the variable which is available in this names, all I wanted to do is system dot out dot print ln of that particular variable name. So, well, this is also going to be one and the same thing. The way the previous output is, it also looks like the same way. And the other way, which is added in the next versions of Java is, you could actually say for, sorry, can I, names dot for each, look at this, from this list or set, I wanted to go for doing an action for each of that element. What is that you wanted to do? System dot out, and that action is print ln. That's what I wanted to do. Control S. Let's say I'll try to comment this. First of all, control S. You have seen these three different types, right? One, and then two, and then three. This is the fourth style. Cannot find the symbol. I think that is there only in the list. It's not there in the set. I think it is there only in the list. ठीक है, मैं लिस्ट में समझाता हूँ ये मेथड, फिर व्हेन वी स्पीक अबाउट द फिल्टर्स एंड ऑल वी विल स्पीक अबाउट दिस मॉडल. चल ठीक है, अभी प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज अनदर अप्रोच इन ऑर्डर टू प्रिंट दिस एलिमेंट्स, राइट. नाउ इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, कुछ भी नहीं है. वी हैव सीन थ्री डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ प्रिंटिंग elements in the collection. Now let's see this. Sometimes you may have to work with a collection of objects, like we have worked with collection of um, see an example of how do we deal with the collections when we are adding different objects to collections. Okay, so let's say I'm having a class called employee. So this employee has got some string name, and you have double salary. ज़्यादा नहीं, बस इतना ही ले लेंगे. And you have a public employee object which will take string name comma double salary as params. And the way this is organized is this dot name is equals to name, that's so he is initializing. This dot salary is equals to salary. Great. And then last but not least, I would be having this fellow at the rate override public string to string, because I wanted to print this element, right? The employee object. Then what is supposed to be printed, I should mention. So I simply have to say return employee name is so and so as comma salary is, for salary simply colon this salary. This is what I wanted to mention. This. My intention is to create a collection of these employees. Let us see. I'll comment out this set of strings, okay, and also this addition of names. I'll keep this because I want you to practice this. तो मैं ये code इसको छोड़ रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, and then I'm coming down here. I'm writing my new code. I'll say list of type employee. Look at this. I'm making it typed collection. Okay ना? List of type employee. और चलो मैं और एक दिखाता हूँ. And simply say list. List. Let's say employee list is equals to new array list. Please understand. This is a non-generic version of collection. मतलब it's not typed. So we get a warning. Remember that warning? You are using non-safe, unsafe, or unchecked operations. Okay, so that is what it is. So employee list dot add of new employee of Ram. Let's say his salary is some 50,000. और एक bracket भूल गया. Closing one. So I'll try to add up few employees here, just like this. Control C. 1, 2, 3. ओके, तो मैं इसका सैलरी कुछ 60 करता हूँ, इसका करता हूँ 70, एंड इसका करता हूँ लेट्स से I'll say 80. ओके, तो ये बन गया मेरा आनंद अभ्यंकर, फिर ये बन गया मेरा नक, फिर ये बन गया विवेक. ओके, और I'll try to add one more. और ये बन गया तनवीर. His salary is also 50,000. Look at this. There are two employees having the same salary. Okay. So would like to print these people. Pretty simple. Nothing more than that. Would like to print these people. So I would like to say for each employee type of object employee available in EMP list system dot out dot println of this fellow employee. Right. Control S. See what happens when I try to compile this. Very first thing is incompatible types. Object cannot be converted to employee. That is because if you have to understand the way when you write a generic, non-generic type of collection, it will add everything as an object. Am I clear? It will add everything as an object. So what are you supposed to do then in that case? Can you take this as an object and then work with it? Yes, it is. That's the first point I want you to observe. When you go for a non-generic version of things, you will not deal with the actual type, but you are dealing with the super type called object. So here object obj in employee list or object emp in employee list, you could actually try to print an employee. You come back here, we'll try to recompile the program. Now I get only warning, there is no error. That is the first point you need to note down. Am I clear? Though he employee himself, see, every employee by default extends, correct or not? But he specifically in the form of an object the moment when you add him to a non-generic version. Okay, this is the first point you need to understand. Fair, when I try to run this fellow, well, I'll get the things as expected. The way I have added, the way I will be printing. Now, why it is taking as an object? Uska problem kya hai, why it is not taking as an employee? Because you have much more choices here to do like this. Employee list dot add of 30. Employee list dot add of 2. Employee list dot add of 22.33. What the hell am I doing? You know, I am trying to add all the other Java data types. This, which is being in a non-generic version, will happily accept every object that you are giving. That is what the warning it is giving. honestly. देखो, देखा? फायदा क्या है? You are not going to achieve the list of employees kind of collection in any way, right? So that's the reason why it is forcing you to treat this employee as an object, because not every element that you are adding here can be an employee. As a compiler, I may know, but as a runtime, you may add anything. So I'll never predict what is that you are going to add here. Well, you want me to predict, then make this typed. Then I will predict. For instance, if you wanted to make this as an employee and then put over here like this, now you have a prediction. Compiler can understand, sense that you are planning to add only employees, and then it will give compile time error saying that you cannot add this one. Let us see. Because it says ki there are no suitable method found for adding integer. Why? Because the method collections is expected adding of an employee is not applicable. Argument mismatch. Integer cannot be converted to employee. तो इसका behavior पूरा change हो गया. Now this is a generic question. మళ్ళీ కాల్ బ్యాక్ చేస్తానని చెప్పి ఒక కొంచెం సేపు ఆగండి మళ్ళీ కాల్ బ్యాక్ ఓకే సో you get this point, right? So this is not applicable when you are making this as a typed collection. And at the same time, this can be happily made as now as an employee emp is equals to. Hope you are observing the behavior. Okay. अब इसमें this is not a big game. There is a small collection that I have added, and I'm trying to print them. And I may also try to add employee list dot add a new employee of the same setting over here. Uh, you tell me. Okay. So how many employees with the name Ram will be printed? Two times, because this is a duplicate thing, right? Okay. एक बार, दूसरी बार, दो बार. What happens if I make this as a set? Expecting duplicate elements will be removed, correct? Yes or no? Then what is expected to be printed? How many are expected to be printed? I'm adding 6 components or 6 employees here. How many are expected to be printed?
5.
5. But ये 6 प्रिंट करेगा क्यों? क्योंकि भाई हर बार हम लोग न्यू बोल रहे हैं. समझो? New stands for new memory address. So remember this point. When you are dealing with references and you are giving a new address directly as an element, don't think that you are, what do you call this, collections of type set will remove the duplicate. It will not, because every memory allocation is new to him. हाँ, अगर आप लोग ऐसा करते हो तो अलग बात है. For example, if you say employee emp is equals to, and you are saying this Ram as a new employee here, control X, control V. अगर आपने इधर ऐसा बोल दिया एम्प्लॉई, फिर लास्ट में इधर बोल दिया एम्प्लॉई, and then here it is something like employee plus. Now see, I have a reference which is pointing to a new address, and I'm giving the same value 2 times. Now this one, I repeat, this one will take only one. Is the previous output where I could see RAM is being printed 2 times by the hash set. The same hash set now will change this behavior. Like this employee will be printed only once. Control S, मैं इधर आ जाता हूँ and say Java C and try to run it. Now you could see only one RAM is printed. Get this? So beware when you are dealing with the references. So references are slightly altered when you directly say new or when you give a reference pointer value. समझ में आया ना point यहाँ पे the way it behaves. Okay.
Yes.
अब देखो now somebody says कि रामा ये जो है values मेरे को sorted order में चाहिए in the sorted order of salary. तो क्या करेंगे? अरे है मेरे पास हमारा एक एलिमेंट है, क्या नाम है उसका? Set. So this tree set basically orders you all the elements. Now you know that it actually have removed the duplicate. But look at the order. There was Raunak and then Tanvir, then Ram, Anand, Vivek. ये क्या order है भाई? मतलब कुछ भी. Right or wrong? So this is based on the hash code of the memory address. Whatever the memory address you are giving, it is generating the hash code and then printing. अभी I wanted to get them in the sorting order. अभी मैंने tree set use किया. So what will be the output of this program? तो your question should be to me. पहले तो ये बताओ राम की ये ऑर्डर में किस बेसिस पे ऑर्डर करेगा? ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नेम और ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सैलरी, राइट? करेक्ट और नॉट? एम्प्लॉय हैज टू एलिमेंट्स भाई, एक तो नेम है उसके पास और दूसरा सैलरी है उसके पास, basis on which this will be sorted. And this compiler, see what compiler will say? Compiler won't say anything, but when you run it, you actually will get an exception class cast. This employee cannot be casted to java.lang.comparable. That is because Java does not know how to compare one employee with another employee. Yes, sir. If we know, it will do comparison. If we don't know how it will do comparison, batao. So you have to tell Java, do the comparison based on this property, either on name or on salary. Okay. If you see, I have declared same salary as of Ram and Tanvir. So how the collection will behave when it is trying to sort two elements with the same value? Let us see that. Now to make this employee as a comparable, you have to simply implement an interface called comparable. Implements comparable of type employee. What the hell is this? Because see, comparable is a generic kind of interface. Meaning of that is you can compare one element to the same type. नहीं राम, अगर हम लोग ने अगर एम्प्लॉय नहीं यूज नहीं किया तो यू आर ट्राइंग टू कंपेयर योर एम्प्लॉय विथ अनदर ऑब्जेक्ट. So it is not a proper way to do the comparison. That's why you are supposed to say comparable of type employee. Okay, so you can do in the other way also. Instead of giving employee also, you can compare it using object version, but that is not the correct way. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Because you are implementing an interface, you must implement. Sorry, you must override a method that is defined in this interface. The method is public int compare to. This original method of this is available in the object class. So the method was like this: object employee 2. That is how it is. Now you are taking generic version of this interface. This generic version of interface has declared itself as a T. So whatever you supply at runtime, that will be taken in the form of an object. Let us say instead of this, if you are doing, instead of saying employee, okay, you are doing or sorry, you are implementing only comparable. You must implement your method like this. Now here, what are you supposed to do? You have to first typecast this object into employee. So you'll have to say employee emp uh, other is equals to or you call this as a obj for your simplicity, and then you could call this fellow as emp2 is equals to employee casted of this object. Now you can work with Mr. Employee too. This is one way. The second way is you directly call this fellow as of type employee, and then you actually write your code of comparison. This is one way. And the other way, if you wanted to do this, is to click in compare to employee EMP2. Now you need not work on that explicit casting because the casting is done by this generic collection itself. तो इधर आके आप सीधा you can write your code of comparison directly. Okay, तो क्या लिखते हैं? अब बताओ on what basis we have to compare our employees? Based on name, based on the salary, right? So we'll say this dot salary dot compare to employee 2 dot salary. Basically, this built-in method object class, which is compared to returns -1 or 0 or +1 as a result of comparison. How do it achieves it? It achieves basically hash code of first object minus hash code of second object, and whatever is there it returns. Simply speaking, this is what it will do. This is what exactly it returns. Hope this is clear to you people. Okay, तो ये काम करती है when you say compare to. Now the problem happens is the salary element. If you see, salary is declared as a primitive type. Primitives never have any method. So remember this aspect. You are expected to deal only with objects when you deal with collections. तो मतलब क्या है? Instead of small double, you are supposed to deal with capital double salary, which is nothing but your double object. Okay. Now the double class, wrapper class, have the method compare to of another employee's salary. That is what exactly it will do. So ये compare करने के बाद करना क्या है? I need to return it. That's all. Now when you say return this dot salary dot compare to employee two dot salary, the comparison of first employee or the current employee happens with the second employee based on his salary range. Those people will be automatically sorted. Okay, okay, let us see it. Control S. We'll come back here to say Java C here, and yeah, there is no warning, no error, nothing. I'll try to run this. Bingo. But कुछ तो mistake है इसमें, बताओ what is it? कुछ तो miss हो गया. What is missing?
Yeah, answer not available.
Tanvir's entry
It is missing
is
from.
missing, correct? So while the time of starting, it based on the salary, the first taken salary has overridden the second salary, which is getting compared. But Rama, ये तो गलत है. Students are missing, employees are missing, right? Yes, it is. They are missing. Then what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to add a conditional based comparison here. So what am I supposed to do? पहले मैं ये करता हूँ. अगर if this dot salary is equals to employee 2 dot salary, in that case I don't do the comparison based on the salary. What I will do, I'll do the comparison based on the name. Now this is my conditional approach. So here, if salary is equal, I'll try to return based on the name. Nahi hai. If this is not the case, by default, I am thinking based on the salary only. Then this statement will be taking place. Because you are saying written over here, the control will be sent back from this position after the condition has met. So you need not worry about having this method executed after this line. No, it will never be, because your control is forcefully thrown back to the caller. Control is इधर आ गया मैं. I'll try to recompile this program. Run the program. Right. किधर है? Where is I still don't see Tanvir. Huh? Why this is equals to did not work? Let us try with this dot equals of sorry, apply to dot salary. Yeah, अब आ गया. I think because the salary is now in the object type, so probably instead of taking this double equals, it is considering this one. Okay, but you wanted value based comparison. In that case, you can say dot yeah, sorry, dot double value is equals to. I think in this way you can do. Right at salary is dot value. It's also working. Okay. So you either do object dot equals method, or you convert it into primitive and do double equals comparison. Hope this is clear. This is all about how you compare objects. Now, please remember, especially to the sorted collections, if you are adding custom objects like user defined objects, and it is your responsibility to add the comparison mechanism. Am I clear on this point? ये मत पूछे कि अगर राम अगर नेम भी सेम है तो मैं क्या करें, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता. So you should go for duplicate elements in that case. ठीक है. So अभी इधर आ जाओ. Now the point is, एक मेरा डाउट है. See, this is your class. You are developing. Agreed? Right? I am only developing this class, so I am able to add comparable. But sometimes you will get only libraries. I mean to say jar files. And you will import those jar files and you would be dealing with those classes which are there in that. In such a kind of situation where the Java file is not there with you, but you have the class file with you, and two unfortunates, one, the object that you are dealing with imported with an external jar file is not of type comparable. What you mean to say is it is like that. Let's say, for example, I'm trying to use this class, and very unfortunately, unfortunate number one, this is not comparable. मतलब ये method नहीं है. Answer is no. ये method नहीं है. Then here you are trying to add that fellow and then trying to print a sorted collection. तो गया मैं इधर and I try to run and I get into the same error. Okay, what am I supposed to do? See, it is something like now you have a class which you are using to a sorted collection, and it is mandatory for you to sort the elements. And the unfortunate number two is you have to sort the elements. Unfortunate number one, this guy is not comparable. He's just a plain old Java object who is not comparable. So what am I supposed to do to make this fellow a comparable? Well, in such a case, let's say if two friends are fighting with each other, not coming to one conclusion, then they basically approach a third person who actually can give his view on that. so that they both will come to that conclusion. Correct or not? Similarly, if your employee cannot compare himself with other employees and he is not of type comparable, that's what he is unable to compare to others, then you actually have to bring a comparator, a class employee comparator. Sorry, employee comparator. Now, who is this employee comparator? एक normal utility class you are writing to provide a utility service of comparison, because that fellow employee is not in a position to, a poor fellow is unable to compare himself with other employees. So we will implement comparator of type employee. That's all. Now what he will do? ये तो इसके पास एक functionality है, just like the comparable interface have compared to. This guy has a method which you need to override. Override public int compare to नहीं है इसमें, compare. Compare who? Compare दो employees, employee E1 and employee E2 is what you need to compare. Okay, so how these two employees will be compared here? Array, the way you have compared over here, it is the same way. I'll take out this control C and I'll put it over here. The only difference is in the place of this, I get even. I've done that. We could say कितना आसान है. Okay, so this guy who is comparator can compare two employees and then give us his conclusion key. Hello, this is what the sorting order is. So how do we make our this employee comparator as a coordinator for this comparison? That is even simple. All you have to do is this particular employee comparator class you have, right? This fellow is supposed to be supplied over here as a parameter of the constructor called employee comparator. That's all. By making this, you are telling that reset key, they got reset. Go to this comparator and take a behavioral model and then try to compare before you are adding elements to your collection. I'll say Control S and then come back here. We'll try to recompile this program. हाँ, अभी this one मैंने क्या कर दिया यार, यहाँ पे it is not mp2. Okay, this is just e2. Apply to, right, this is only e2. Control S. Now I'll try to run the program. It is still happily working. Understood, right? So when you try to add, we'll come back from the previous points. Like when you are dealing with collections, by default they are non-generic, you can add any type to them, point number one. But you will get observable warning that you are doing unsafe or unchecked operations when you are dealing with non-generic collections. Second, when you are dealing with tree or sorting collections, the first thing which you need to understand is the element is of type unique should be added. That means same type of element should be added, or else you will fall into the class cast exception. Chalo, I can add, but if you try to add all the built-in Java types, there is no problem. But if you try to add a custom object to a tree collection, then you must be a comparable. If not, you need to provide a comparator. These are all the rules which are specific to sorted collections. Hope this is all clear to you people. तो तीन तीन पॉइंट्स हमें याद रखना है. क्या है? When you are dealing with tree sets, first point, it should be of type. Second point, the objects, if you are dealing with custom objects, the custom object should be of type comparable, which might have implemented this method. um, this method, the one what you are seeing over here. Okay, but what if The object you are trying to add is coming to you in the form of a class file, and you cannot make it as a comparable. No problem. Then we need to bring a third person called Mr. Comparator into picture, who will do the same job for me. ठीक है? और कुछ डाउट्स है उसमें? नींद में मैं थोड़ा सा पानी पीता हूँ। तुम लोग जस्ट सी दिस पीस ऑफ कोड, मेनली कंपेरेबल और कंपेरेटिव दोनों का कोड है। देखो देखो तुम लोग, जस्ट हैव सम वाटर एंड देन गेट बैक। देखा कोड को? एनी डाउट्स सो फार? Guys, any doubts so far? No one is speaking. Am I in the session or not? I am in the session. Yes. Guys, am I audible? Any doubts?
Yes, sir. You are no doubt, sir.
No
Yes,
doubts,
sir.
huh?
No
Shall we
doubt, sir.
move on to the next point?
Doubt, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is all about adding a single elements to the collection, which is like working with the list as well as with the set. Now we will move on and learn about something called as maps. Map is a dictionary kind of collections which will be adding elements in the form of key and value. So if you have seen this API, this is the map, interface map. So uh, V is can be a list also. Okay, so you have a method like a put which will take a key comma value. A value can be collection itself, and you can get your value by supplying the e key. Basically this returns value in form of object, and then you could actually replace one key with a new value. Okay, and you have a key set method which returns all the keys that are there. And you could also contains method is there, right? We have in collections contains. Similarly, we have two methods here: contains key, contains value. And we have seen an entry set also, like I explained in the last session what is an entry set, which is a one combination of key and value. One row of key value is called as entry set, which is a sub interface of map. And the sub interface of map entry has got two methods: get key as well as get value. Okay, so we'll see a map kind of collections, and then we will also see a requirement of in what kind of situations we go for map. Okay, um, have you people remember we dealt with a multi-dimensional array example कॉलेज का? याद है आप लोगों को? For number of departments, for number of students, for number of
Yes,
subjects,
sir.
marks entry
Yes.
करने का. In such a kind of thing, if you wanted to take names of the sections also, names of the departments also, and names of the subjects also, in array it is not possible because it takes only one single type of element. But in maps it is possible. We will see that one. ठीक है? तो वही वाला एग्जांपल थोड़ा दौरा के अच्छा मॉडल में करेंगे. ठीक है? So we'll see two different kind of examples here as a part of the maps discussion. So I'll come down here, we'll write a small example, pretty छोटा बच्चे के जैसे छोटा एग्जांपल है, just to let you understand the APIs of map. ठीक है? So you have input dev.util.star. I have a class called map test. Here in the map test, I have my public static void main string args. ये पहले जो एग्जांपल है फर्स्ट 10-15 मिनट्स का छोटा एग्जांपल है just to let you understand the map related stuff, and then the next example what we are going to practice is how when we use maps when we bring data from the database, and then how do you use them, that kind of stuff we'll see. Okay, so now look at it. I have a map, and then as I told you, it is always better to go for a key and value type. So I am preparing this. Let's say, for example, a string and another string. Say students is equals to new hash map of the same. Okay. So, what are the two strings we are thinking of? Map of ID, comma, student name is what I am thinking of. Okay, now that is what my intention is for the both of these strings. So, if you have to, even for an ID, if you wanted to give an employee object, yes, you could give an employee object also. Okay, so this string can be, and then this can be an object, or it can be an integer, or it can be anything. कुछ भी हो सकता है ये. So here I will say student start put, and I'm trying to give ID 1, comma, let's say Tanvir. Student start put, let's say 3, comma, look at that one, 3 मैंने ऐड किया, 1 के बाद 3 मैंने ऐड किया. विवेक. Student start, I will say 5. Well, you can take this as an integer also if you want. I just have taken it as a string. No specialty, just like that I have taken. Parameshwari, you have student start put. Two now. Add it. So I have Anita. Student start 1, 3, 5, 2. और कौन बचा है? 4. And Abhyankar. Right. And here I'll say uh, so how do you print it? There are multiple ways of going and dealing with maps. Basically, as I told you, you can get all the keys by calling a set of strings. Let's say set of string keys is equals to students dot key set. Please understand this actually semicolon में भूल गया था, sorry. This is returning all the keys in a set, in a hash set in fact, okay, which is 1 3 5 2 4 idhar aa jayega. Now for each of this key that I have received, I need to get the other associated student, whoever the student it is. Okay, I'm sorry. So I'll say iterator string here keys is equals to keys dot iterate. Then you can say, well, this is of type string, right? You can use for each also if you want. For each you can want, if you want, like you can say for each string key available keys. Or you wanted to do, you can do it here. You wanted to print the value, you can print out start out dot print ln. Very first thing I wanted to deal with is key plus hyphen students dot get me an element which is available at this key. So takes the key and returns the value which is available at this key level. Okay, let's see क्या print होता है. क्या नाम है इसका? Map. Okay, so I'll come here. Java C map test Java. We go Java map test. Become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Order is automatically have taken. हैश मैप है ना राम, ये तो उल्टा सीधा होना चाहिए but 1 2 3 4 5 by default gives ordered hash value only. You need not worry on that one. Now the point which I want you to observe in this is, you know, this is one way of printing elements in the map. The other way of printing elements in the map is the one you can say for each map dot entry which is of type string comma string entry available in students dot entry set. When you call entry set, it actually returns you entry set of the same type because this is a driven version of the map. Okay. uh, it's not set. Basically, you can simply call map.entry. My mistake. You can simply say map.entry of type string comma string and whose temporary variable name you have given as entry in this entry set. For each entry, what are you trying to do here is you are trying to print these things system.out.ln entry dot get the name as entry dot get the value. Well, that is what you need to say. It's not name by mistake. Get key is what you are supposed to say. Get key and get value. This is another way of printing a map based element. So I'll come down here. We'll try to recompile this program and run the program. You will still get the same output. Okay. Here. Sometimes people will ask you, can you please find a key of a specific value? ये देखो यहाँ पे एक if condition डाल देते, if this enter dot get key is dot equals to so and so, then you print the value, something like that. ऐसा कुछ भी कर सकते, ठीक है ना? ओके ओके, मैप का बेसिक एग्जांपल समझ में आ गया ना?
Yes, sir.
तो अभी देखते हैं कि मैप जनरली यूज कैसे करते रियल टाइम में कि in what way this guy can be used. This is a slightly most important thing. Control S मैं आया नया एग्जांपल मोड पे import java dot util dot star class called college. Do we have the class called college here in our list? है ना? तो ये रिप्लेस हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं करते. कॉलेज है हमारे पास और कुछ कैंपस टेस्ट है. यू हैव कैंपस बोल के क्लास है क्या? एम्प्लॉय कैंपस क्लास. यार ये भी है. हम्म, क्योंकि इसका नामकरण मैंने कर दिया कि इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज कुछ भी ऐसा. अरे बाप रे, give me a second, ऐसा करता था. ओके ओके देखो, I have my public static void main string args. See, intention is to develop a small software which can help me to add any number of students. I repeat, I am not deciding the size. I repeat this again. Any number of students to any number of sections, and the departments in a college also can be any number. So when you wanted to make a complete flexible system, you better deal with the collections framework, and maps are the most useful things over here. थोड़ा सा आराम से ऑब्जर्व करो, इसका स्ट्रक्चर थोड़ा उल्टा फुल्टा जैसा दिखता है लेकिन इट इज नॉट बेसिकली. आराम से ऑब्जर्व करो. सो मेरे पास है सबसे पहला, द वेरी फर्स्ट मॉडल आई हैव इज मैप ऑफ टाइप a string which is department name comma a map of, look at this, what is this, another map for, the first thing is this map itself is a, let's say this is my college is equals to new tree map या हैश map, आप जो कुछ भी समझो नो प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है. नाउ दिस मैप इज ऑफ कॉलेज, कॉलेज में क्या रहेगा, number of departments, and then each department is associated with number of sections. ठीक है, मैप ऑफ सेक्शंस, सेक्शंस में क्या रहेगा, मैप ऑफ सेक्शन नेम कॉमा, फिर क्या रहेगा, will it have student, right? Yes or no? How many students can be there? One student, many number of students, agreed? Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So map of, ये फिर से मैप क्यों रहा, मतलब what is it you are trying to convey? तो मेरे पास और भी सारे स्टूडेंट्स रहेंगे, लेकिन each student can have a name and then associated marks. So I will have a string comma integer is what it is. Because structure ko, I can have number of departments which can have number of sections. Each section have a number of students, and each student have number of, or like each student can write number of subjects. Can we make it as? Yes, of course you can make it as. Nobody is stopping you. Hope this is clear to everyone. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat?
Okay. This first string is of DEPT name, department name, comma, will have map of section name, will have map of student name, comma, marks. If you wanted to make this more complex, for each student, if you wanted to assign multiple subjects, you are free to do that also. Nobody can stop you. You can have this, instead of simply speaking integer, you can have it as another map which will contain subject as well as mark. Okay na, understood? It's up to you. Okay, so अगर मुझे और भी complex बनाना है, I can add another map over here. It's having string comma integer and I'll add one more this. ये क्या कर दिया राम तुमने, ये देखो ये क्या कर दिया, मैं बताता हूँ, subject name comma marks. समझ गया ना? So you want to go with such a kind of complex structure. In arrays, it is not possible, but whereas here in collections, it is quite possible. But the way you fill this map, I repeat, the way you fill this map is in the reverse order. Is in the reverse order. So how do you do that? मैं बताता हूँ. So here, the system starts with asking the person ki, bhai, what is department name or section name क्या है, कितने students है उसमें, all that stuff, right or wrong? So here I'll say system dot out dot print, enter department name. Now, do I have to ask how many number of departments are there? You can. If you wanted this operation to be repeated for a specific number of steps, you can do that. So here you can say int department count, int, or you could simply say department count for time being. You could say system dot out dot print enter number of departments in your college. So I'll take that here entity count is equals to integer dot percent of whatever the value you are taking here from system dot console dot read like that, right? So I happily will run a small for loop for int d is equals to 0, d less than the d count, d plus plus. यहाँ पे I'll take the department number one, the other department name. Okay, I actually can call whatever department name, one name, department two name, something like that. I can say
बच्चों
ऐसा भी कुछ बोल सकता हूँ मैं. Now, I have taken the name of the department, and after taking the name of the department, I need to take a number of sections in this department, right? So I will say system dot out dot int in where is the department? By the way, department name enter तो कर दिया. Okay, so where are you taking it? So string department name is equals to system dot console dot read line. This is what it is. Now, after reading this department name, I would be using it over here to make my program more dynamic. The number of sections in IT department or something. Okay. Now, I take that section count is equals to integer dot percent of take the system dot console dot read line. For these many sections, I need to run another for loop. Agreed? See, the first point I am sorry, I forgot to close this for loop. Now I am taking here. For each section is equals to 0, section less than this, section count, section plus plus. What am I supposed to do अब यहाँ पे sections बड़ा हो गया और क्या? Enter the section name and then enter number of students in this section ऐसा कुछ बोल दो. ठीक है? So you have to take the section name. Take the section name Control C and Control V. Here you could actually say a section name is equals to enter section one name. पूछ लिया and the end user will enter the section one name. You took that into section name and whatever you have read, you have it with you. Now आपके पास डिपार्टमेंट नेम है एंड आपके पास सेक्शन नेम है, याद रखो ये. Okay, and then what are you supposed to do? Now you have your section में क्या है आपके पास? For each section you have to add number of students with number of subjects and marks, right? See the complexity. Now you will say for फिर ये वाला आएगा
सी
कंट्रोल सी कंट्रोल V. The number of students in section name, or you can call this as a class name if you feel like this is okay. ये क्या है? Student count is equals to so and so. Now you have how many number of students are there in the college. All you need to do is for int यहाँ पे भी you are supposed to say int, जो मैं भूल गया था, my mistake. Int stud is equals to 0, stud is less than stud dot. ओके, मेरे पास स्टूडेंट्स आया था, क्या करना है ईच स्टूडेंट का? भाई स्टूडेंट का नाम पकड़ो और पूछो कि कितने सब्जेक्ट्स लिखे हैं बंदे ने। ये है, तो ये वाला फिर से मैं कॉपी करता हूँ, राइट, एंड आई विल कम डाउन हियर, कंट्रोल। सो here I will ask him in how many subjects he has written. Enter. कितने सब्जेक्ट्स होगा उसका बताओ। नो, यू हैव स्टूडेंट काउंट, पहले स्टूडेंट का नाम चाहिए ना आपको। एंटर स्टूडेंट वन नेम, each of the student you are taking him, right? So here you will say stud name is equals to system.console.read line। फिर उसके बाद आप पूछेंगे how many subjects this fellow have written, how many number of subjects that were attempted by, क्या आना चाहिए यहाँ पे, फिर ये आया, this will become income। So for each डिपार्टमेंट मेरे पास सेक्शंस आए, फॉर ईच सेक्शन स्टूडेंट्स आए थे, फॉर ईच स्टूडेंट सब्जेक्ट्स आए। व्हाट एम आई सपोज टू डू नाउ? फॉर ईच ऑफ दिस subject is equals to 0, subject less than subject count, subject plus plus। हम क्या करेंगे आप इसमें भाई, कुछ नहीं, I'll take that subject name and the marks associated with, that's all। So I'll say this one, and that's it। All I have to do, enter subject one name, and I will say here subject name। ये हो गया, फिर उसके बाद you have to ask the end user system.out.print enter marks obtained in subject name। तो आपका मार्क्स मिल गया, पकड़ो फिर int marks is equals to integer dot parseInt of system dot console dot read line। Now देखो, so now I have a subject and marks with me। How do I add all of this to this above thing? Now I need to have different maps, a map of string and integer for subjects, and a map of section name and student name, and then the subjects and marks called student map, and then another map which is specifically capturing the section names, and then one for the department। मतलब बहुत सारे maps चाहिए यहाँ पे, okay? Hope you people are understanding what I'm trying to do।
Yes, sir.
तो कैसे मैं पकड़ू? एक्चुअली ये इससे पहले क्यों डिक्लेयर करना, जस्ट फॉर योर बेनिफिट अंडरस्टैंडिंग की दिस इज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू टेक फाइनली। ओके, तो आप डिक्लेयर करो मैप ऑफ टाइप स्ट्रिंग कामा इंटीजर, नाम क्या था इसका, सब्जेक्ट्स इज इक्वल्स टू न्यू ट्री मैप ऑफ द सेम। ये मेरा पहला, आई मीन टू से पहला इनपुट है जो वैल्यू लेता है, फाइनल वैल्यू लेता है। फिर उसके बाद मेरे पास रहेगा मैप ऑफ टाइप स्ट्रिंग कमा मैप ऑफ स्ट्रिंग कॉमा इंटीजर, ये कौन होता है बताओ? स्टूडेंट्स, स्टूडेंट लिस्ट, ओके ना? इक्वल्स टू न्यू ट्री में, फिर क्या है रहा? यू हैव स्टूडेंट्स, यू हैव सब्जेक्ट्स एंड मार्क्स विथ यू। ओके, और क्या चाहिए आपको? You need sections, right? Yes or no? Correct. Yes. So you need map of type string comma map of type string comma map of type comma integer sections is equal to new tree map of the same. बढ़िया, और कुछ चाहिए? और कुछ चाहिए क्या आपको?
डिपार्टमेंट।
मैप ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट्स इटसेल्फ इज द कॉलेज, वो है ना मेरे पास ऑलरेडी, राइट? तो आई विल टेक आउट दिस फेलो, कंट्रोल एक्स, I'll say control V. Now you will get a clarity. तो पहले मैं सब्जेक्ट्स पर करता हूँ, सब्जेक्ट्स एंड मार्क्स, उसको लेके जाके आई विल असाइन टू स्टूडेंट्स, एंड देन स्टूडेंट्स को लेके जाके सेक्शन में डालता हूँ, एंड सेक्शंस को लेके जाके कॉलेज को देता हूँ। नो इट मेक सेंस?
यस सर।
नहीं? अब देखो, आई हैव अ मैप ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स, तो आई विल टेक पर्सन का सब्जेक्ट नेम और उसका रेस्पेक्टिव मार्क्स, ये पूरा लेने के बाद based on the subjects I'll take number of students, and then each student will be assigned to one subject, and then after this students map is been filled, I'll take number of students, I'll take each of the student and then assign him to sections, and then once sections are ready, I'll check the college and then I'll say, Dekho, this is what the number of departments available with me. This is department name. And for each of this name, I will write as a number of sections. Sections is the subset of department. Okay. Now I haven't added them. See, these are declared structures only. Please understand. When we add values, you will get a bit clarity. अब ये देखो, I have four structures defined, and I also have whole number of code written in order to read them. तो read किया तो किया, but I haven't added them to actual structural elements, right? Collection elements. Now I'm trying to add them here. So I'll say subjects collection dot put the subject name marks. Now what I will do next, after that I have taken this for loop will be completed. After this for loop is completed, I have a student count, right? The student name. I'll have to add for this student, these are the subjects. So here I'll say students dot put student name comma subjects. ये होने के बाद this will be repeated for the second student and then third student and the fourth student. तो ये पूरा students तक आके रुकेगा। फिर students के पहले भी थोड़ा चल रहा था, what is that? Sections, right? Yes or no? Above there are sections. So students you have added with subject name as well as this one. Then you will have to say sections dot put section name comma students. फिर क्या बचा है? ये हो गया। फिर उसके ऊपर I have number of departments, and now I'll have to come down here and then say uh, departments name.
डिपार्टमेंट उसका नाम क्या रखा था, मैं भूल गया।
कॉलेज। तो I'll have to come down here. Start put. क्या पुट करना है? पुट करने के लिए तो हमारे पास एक ही है, व्हाट इज द डिपार्टमेंट नेम, राइट? डी नेम. सो आई विल से हियर डी नेम which we have taken over here, and comma sections. So for each department I have set the sections. Now this is what my aim is basically. You go type, well, this is the for each for loop. Okay. Now this college will have all of you know controllers. नाम क्या रखना है भाई इसका, मैं भूल गया था. What is the name of this class, by the way? Engineering college.
Engineering college.
Controllers.
So it contains some syntax errors, sir.
Here,
So in section for loop of section, sir, you didn't have mentioned semicolon, and
correct.
and it should be, sir, sec plus one, not d plus one, sir.
Copy paste किया ना?
Yes, sir.
यहाँ पे भी फिर यहाँ पे भी. ठीक है, अब अच्छा दिख रहा है ना? इसे भी हमारे कंपाइलर किस काम का, मेरे को गाली देने बगैर क्या कर सकती है वो बताओ. जावा सी. However, I have fixed these things what you said. हाँ, ये प्लस प्लस के बाद यहाँ पे भी पेस्ट कर दिया क्या मैंने? हद तेरी की. हम्म. तो प्लस. This is all about reading only. Am I clear? Are we printing these details?
No, sir.
नहीं मतलब सोफा नहीं, अगर प्रिंट करना है तो we'll repeat the same thing, correct? So let's say if you wanted to print this, you need not worry on this one. You can directly print that one. So printing थोड़ा tricky पड़ेगा इसमें. I want you to observe that one also. ओके, तो मैंने कहा बोला कि भैया आई एम रीडिंग द डिटेल्स, और यहाँ पे बोले कि भैया हम प्रिंटिंग द डिटेल्स। तो प्रिंट कैसे करना है ये देखते हैं पहले, ठीक है ना। नो, तो एज आई टोल्ड यू राइट, मैप्स प्रिंट करने के लिए यू कैन गो विद यू नो मैप डॉट एंट्री टाइप, या नहीं तो हर एक की पकड़ के भी प्रिंट कर सकते हो। इट इज अप टू यू। ओके, तो आई एम गोइंग टू map dot entry model. Now I'll say,
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
yeah, better.
Sir, line number 51 and 52 are same, sir.
ऐसा क्या, ए कॉपी पेस्ट हो गया? डाउट नहीं, ये एक्चुअली गलती है, बग है, आपने पकड़ा।
Okay, sir. Got it.
हाँ, मैं मतलब मैं पता नहीं, वो कुछ तो कॉपी करके उधर ऐसे ही पेस्ट हो गया शायद, मेरे ख्याल से। तो एक ही पुट करना था ना, दो बार क्यों पुट करना, वेस्ट है। इट्स अ बग, मिस्टेक। और अब देखो, नाउ आई हैव ऑल ऑफ दिस थ्री थिंग्स राइट, कॉलेज है मेरे पास। तो व्हाट आई विल से, फॉर ईच app dot entry, I'm not trying to convey this type. Okay, so just saying like, you know, BPTs available in college dot entry set. I wanted to do something. System dot out dot println BPTs dot get key. Just wanted to see whether it will be printed or not. First of all, it will be compiled or not. Says key. Oh, ये क्या है? Cannot find the symbol system.out.pratln pratln। अच्छा ठीक है, वो तो अलग सा एरर है। printLn, फिर println similarly ntln control s, typo mistake है, right? It compiled. Let's try to run this Java engineering call, अरे नहीं, sorry, don't want it to run now। तो department dot get key, and मैंने print कर दिया। What is this I'm expecting? Prints the department name, correct? Now for each of this department, again, okay, uh, which is a map dot entry again, right? Get value is nothing, it's nothing but a map again. So map of string comma map of string student comma map of subject comma integer। देखो, ओके, नाम क्या है भाई इसका? sections is equals to ppt star get value। आया मेरे पास वैल्यू। फिर अगेन आई से फॉर ईच map dot entry sections available in this above sections dot entry set। You are getting this point, right? The way I am trying to do. Now here करना क्या मुझे? I need to print that system dot out dot println slash t, मतलब एक टैब स्पेस दे रहा हूँ वो उसको डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर लाने के लिए। आई एम ट्राइंग टू से प्लस sections dot get key is what I said। हो गया, right? Then after printing this, within this for loop, before I close this, ये section का name print करने के बाद I need to get, again I'll say map of type string comma and map of type यहाँ पे देखो it was map of string of map. So this is section, student and subjects. अभी section से बाहर आ गया. This is basically student. तो student name followed by subject comma integer is equals to sections dot get value. Now, what is that I get is number of students over here. So here, what I'm supposed to do is for each map dot entry students available in students dot entry set. Now, पे sections निकालना चाहिए. It is only section. Similarly, this is only DEPT. Each department in कौन है भैया? Give me a second, guys. Hello, Bhavani. Ah, నేను సెషన్లో ఉన్నాను భవాని. ఒక హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ 40 minutes పడుతుంది. 5కి అయిపోతుంది సెషన్. యా నేను కాల్ చేస్తాను. 5కి కాల్ చేస్తాను. యా ఓకే. अरे से राकेश असाइन टू सम ओके. मिनट रुको यार. HR is asking me something. Rakesh assigned to some. Who is Rakesh? Who is Rakesh? याद नहीं आ रहा मुझे. आई डोंट रिमेम्बर. सडनली वो पूछते राकेश को. जो बाद में आंसर करता हूँ. चलो ठीक है. कम बैक. अरे मेरा फ्लो मिस हो जा रही था. आई एम सॉरी. रियली सॉरी. So for each student, now I will say system dot out dot println slash t पर इसमें स्टूडेंट का नाम आना चाहिए ना मुझे, राइट? सो तो आई एम सिंपली सेइंग फॉर student Ram, something like this. A student, and I'm taking his name, right? I'll say this one for each student I'm saying. So here I'm supposed to say student dot get key. So I got the name, and then what? Then for value, I need the subject as well as marks. So here I'll say map of type string comma integer subjects is equals to uh, student dot get value. We have maybe that this section dot get. It's not sections. ओके, यहाँ पे भी डिपार्टमेंट डॉट गेट की, फिर ईच सेक्शन सेक्शन डॉट गेट की, सेक्शन डॉट गेट वैल्यू, फिर फॉर ईच स्टूडेंट स्टूडेंट डॉट गेट की, स्टूडेंट डॉट गेट वैल्यू. ओके, नाउ हियर आई विल से for each map dot entry subject available in subjects dot entry set. तो इधर मुझे बंदे का रिजल्ट प्रिंट करने का है. Here I'll say result of the student. See the student का name. फिर यहाँ पे I will say system dot out dot ln as the subject, or I could directly say the subject name. Uh, then तो यहाँ पे मैं प्रिंट करता हूँ. ओके, सो जस्ट प्रिंट only. And यहाँ से I'll have to take them in a proper way, right? This is one tab, and then this should be two tabs, and then this should be three tabs. फिर यहाँ पे I'll say int marks is equals to integer dot percent of get value, and I have got my integer. Now here I am printing my result. If these marks are greater than or is equals to 40, now I will continue my ss system dot out dot print ln. I will go to the next line after printing. Um, you know, ये वाला मैंने प्रिंट किया subject dot get key, and then followed by I will say qualified else. Have patience when you are dealing with maps. स्ट्रक्चर बहुत कंफ्यूज कर देगा आपको. ठीक है, सो दैट्स सो आई विल ट्राई टू प्रिंट द रिजल्ट्स. कंट्रोल एस. ये तो कितने सताएगी मुझे ये. ये वाला colon expected not student available in student dot entry set line number 64 में. अरे यहाँ पे डॉट होना चाहिए. सॉरी. यस. हाँ, ये वेरिएबल स्टूडेंट इज ऑलरेडी फिट शीट यार. अच्छा, एक ही मेथड में पढ़ा है ना. ओके.
Sir, in line number 59,
देख
it's
रहा हूँ.
depth dot get value.
डेप्ट डॉट गेट वैल्यू. राइट. दैट इज वन थिंग. वो नहीं, वो बोल रहा है कि स्टूडेंट इज ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड, ऐसा कुछ बोल रहा है. तो आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग किधर लाइक this might have been used as a local variable. Yeah, students is what I'm thinking it might have said. ये तो कर दिया मैं. फिर sections is already defined बोल रही है. uh, बोलेस. ये क्या बोलता है फाइनली ये वाला व्हेन यू से सेक्शन डॉट गेट वैल्यू दिस इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट, ये ऐसा कन्वर्ट नहीं होता बोल के. सो वी हैव टू टाइप कास्ट इट, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बेसिकली. इसको ऐसा वी विल हैव टू टेक इट इन दिस वे एंड similarly you have to take it in this way and typecast it. Not only that one, this fellow also. Control C. और कितने एरर्स बचे हैं भाई. और एरर्स बचा है. वो क्या बोल रहे, सेक्शन सीज, स्टूडेंट सीज, सब्जेक्ट सीज. अच्छा, तो क्या करें. ये सेस की इधर इट इज ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स फिर subjects, फिर sections. That is what it says. तो इसका नाम बदला है मैंने section map. फिर इसको मैं बदल रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट मैप. फिर बदल रहा हूँ सब्जेक्ट. लेट्स. और कितने गालियाँ बचे. Object cannot be converted. ये वाला. I'm sorry. This is ये करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. I can directly typecast it to integer. That's it. Control S. Now see. पैकेट ज़्यादा बच गया. परसेंट वाले का. Control S. Okay. So it still says you are using unsafe or uncheck operations. That is because when you are simply saying map.entry, whereas you are supposed to say map.entry of type this one. स्टूडेंट के लिए क्या क्या चाहिए ये सारा कुछ आपको बोलना चाहिए. It's something like this. Control C. Like this you have to say. Okay. So then it will say, this is a proper way of doing it. If you're not doing it that way, it says you are still not following the standard way. So itna hi aur kuch nahi. That's what it says. Okay. And then in the last part also, map of string comma integer, you would have to say map the entry of type. Control S. अब जाके बोलो. और भी है. कहीं तो मिस कर दिया हम लोगों ने. Somewhere else we have missed out. Yeah, this one. Okay, this one will contain ये इतना बड़ा सा आएगा इधर. We'll see. Control S. ठीक है. Scale S. कॉम्प्लेक्स है देखो. है ना. Now let's run this. The show will run now. Like Java. इसका नाम भूल गया मैं. Engineering College. Okay, welcome to Jokata Academy. Reading the details of each student in Jokata Academy. Enter the number of departments in your college. है मेरे पास 2 डिपार्टमेंट है. Enter the department one name. Let's say DLP. Enter the number of sections in DLP. 2 section है. Enter a section name. Section 1. Enter number of students in section 1. 2 student है. Enter the student one name. Okay. तो ये जो टैबिंग का फंडा है यहाँ पे मैंने अपनाया. बट इफ यू हैव ऑब्जर्व ये टैबिंग का फंडा मैंने इधर नहीं डाला. इसलिए पूरा का पूरा एक ही लाइन में आ रहा है. ओके. इफ यू पुट टैब्स हियर आल्सो देन इट विल कम इन अ ऑर्डर वे. बहुत अच्छा दिखेगा दिखने में. बट फॉर नाउ दैट्स ओके. आई एम गिविंग लेट्स से फर्स्ट स्टूडेंट. And the number of subjects that were attempted by first student. देखो कितना लंबा जा रहा है. ओके. 2 subjects है. Enter subject one name. Java. Enter marks of Java 10. The subject two name. क्या है? Let's say testing 20. अभी student 2 के पास आया. That too I am in section 1 only. Then I have to go to section 2. Then I have to go to a department 2. ठीक है. Student 2 name. Student 2. Enter number of subjects, only one subject. Let's say testing, DV. which 40 marks आया उसको. फिर एंटर द सेक्शन 2 नेम. सेक्शन 2 नेम है सेक्शन, एंड द नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स. ये इसमें एक ही स्टूडेंट है समझो. ओके, इसका नाम है टेस्ट. एंटर सब्जेक्ट्स दैट वर अटेम्प्टेड द टेस्ट. नंबर ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स, एक ही सब्जेक्ट है. व्हाट इज द सब्जेक्ट नेम? टेस्ट सब्जेक्ट इटसेल्फ. आया उसको कुछ 50 मार्क्स. नो, अभी मैं गया था डिपार्टमेंट 2 में. सो डिपार्टमेंट 2 है मेरा. जैसे डीएलपी के साथ मेरे पास है दूसरा, लेट्स से प्रोडक्ट. एंटर नंबर ऑफ सेक्शंस इन द प्रोडक्ट डिपार्टमेंट. एक ही सेक्शन है भाई. एंटर द सेक्शन 1. ओके, डेवलपमेंट सेक्शन. इन द डेवलपमेंट सेक्शन हाउ मेनी नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं? 2 स्टूडेंट्स है. एंटर द स्टूडेंट 1. लेट्स से कोई मेरा प्रोडक्ट स्टूडेंट 1. द नंबर ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स, एक ही सब्जेक्ट है. सब्जेक्ट नेम प्रोडक्ट सब्जेक्ट 1. मार्क्स 10 आया था उसको. फिर एंटर स्टूडेंट नेम प्रोडक्ट स्टूडेंट 2. फिर अंडर हाउ मेनी नंबर ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स? 2 सब्जेक्ट है. सब्जेक्ट नेम टेस्ट 1. मार्क्स आया था 20. सब्जेक्ट 2 नेम टेस्ट 2. मार्क्स आया था 50. एंड ये देखो, वो जितने भी सब्जेक्ट्स लिखा है वो पूरा ठीक है. सो व्हेन यू वांटेड टू डील विथ, ये इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? ये एक डीएलपी है, डिपार्टमेंट रिजल्ट ऑफ फर्स्ट स्टूडेंट, स्टूडेंट 2 रिजल्ट्स ऑफ टेस्ट. फिर सेक्शन 2 में आया था. फिर उसके बाद सेक्शन 2 में और एक बार आया. इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है, कोई बता सकता है क्या? फिर प्रोडक्ट पहला डीएलपी का आया था, फिर डेवलपमेंट का. ये क्या रिपीट हुआ? कैन somebody टेल मी? फाइंड आउट द बग एंड देन फाइन ट्यून दिस प्रोग्राम. इसमें बग क्या है तुम लोगों को पकड़ना है. ठीक है, कुछ तो डबल टाइम ट्रिपल टाइम रिपीट हुआ जैसा आ रहा है, राइट? करेक्ट और नॉट? तो क्या रिपीट हुआ, दैट यू नीड टू नो. पहले से देखो, पहला क्या आया था आउटपुट? पहला डिपार्टमेंट है डीएलपी. ओके, फिर दूसरा डेवलपमेंट. दोनों डिपार्टमेंट्स क्यों एक ही बार प्रिंट हो गया? दे आर नॉट सपोज टू प्रिंट इन दैट वे, राइट? So it is supposed to print the first one, which is the get key value. Then it should go inside and it has to print the section. फिर section के अंदर जाना चाहिए. फिर result of so and so student. फिर student के अंदर जाके फिर से उसको print करना चाहिए. So what might have went wrong? And it is printing every subject to every student. Hmm? Find out करोगे तुम लोग. Hello. Hello, guys.
Yes, sir.
Observing the code or how? Hmm? Ah, you people are
Observe.
observing the code and let me know where these things are going wrong. Anyway, we'll stop the session here. The next topic which we
Can
need to
you share?
discuss. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sir.
बताओ, बताओ. If you have observed something.
No, sir. I'm said. Can you share the file? This file.
हाँ, मैं पूरा शेयर करूँगा. API एग्जाम्पल सारा कुछ अभी शेयर करता हूँ. Okay, in tomorrow session, which is we are going to discuss start SQL tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2 days we will work with SQL. ठीक है? We'll learn SQL. इसमें एक और पॉइंट बच गया है. This is working with the streams. Okay, lambda expressions. How do we filter collections? That topic also we will discuss tomorrow. तो कल परसों हम sections थोड़ा lengthy रहेंगे and we will close SQL, and once that is done, next week we will start web app development. Okay ना?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
अभी honestly speaking, you people uh, किधर है batch 2? What is date today? 2nd March.
Second
You
March.
were supposed to be here. मतलब पहला सर्वलेट एप्लीकेशन आपको डेवलप करना था. So we are delayed by 3 sessions almost because I'm not well, and then I didn't take 1 or 2 sessions over here. These 3-4 sessions were delayed. तो चलो देखते. नो प्रॉब्लम, वी आर नेवर इन हरी. आराम से करेंगे, कोई बात नहीं. I'll beg 2-3 more days if we aren't done by this time. No problem. ठीक है, आराम से जाएंगे, आराम से सीखेंगे. वेल, ये वाला टीम्स और लैम्डास है ना, दिस वी विल डील विथ tomorrow, followed by RDBMS. Okay, so I think this one is going as per to the schedule, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir.
UI.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
बढ़िया.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ओके, बढ़िया. तो ये मैं शेयर करता हूँ आप लोगों को. गो थ्रू दैट and we'll continue this example followed by streams, followed by introduction to RDBMS tomorrow. ठीक है ना?
Okay, fine, sir.
ओके बेटा. My energy levels are down, or else I would have taken another 40-45 minutes. मिस नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है,
Okay.
आज के लिए स्टॉप कर देंगे, प्लीज डोंट माइंड.
Okay, sir. Take care.
या